Against Member of Parliament elect for Asin North, James Gyekye Quayson. Details shortly.
Also coming up tonight, Ghana National Association of Teachers advocates for mandatory swimming tutorials for teachers in island communities.
And on the international front, South Africa's electricity minister says the country is closer to ending daily power cuts.
We have details of these stories and many more coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
Let's settle for them now. And Domahene has appealed to the Attorney General to file a nolle prosequi to halt the criminal trial of Asin North Member of Parliament-elect James Gyekye Quayson. Mr. Quayson is facing trial for perjury at the High Court in Accra. Sajifo Osiadiayo Ajimambedu II, who is also a High Court judge, spoke at the Atamils Memorial Lecture in Sunyani in the Bono region on Saturday, the 1st of July, 2023.
Ghana Amamra, dual citizenship.
Ghana's laws accept dual citizenship. It is also true that you cannot be a member of parliament if you have dual citizenship.
Free without prejudice to the outcome of a court case pending before the High Court, Accra. Canada.
I'm talking about a member of parliament who renounced his Canadian citizenship. He got into some legal trouble with his documentation. The Supreme Court earlier affirmed that the Asin North parliamentary election in 2020 be declared null and void. If I were at the Supreme Court, I would have disagreed with that ruling.
Attorney General of Ghana.
I plead with the Attorney General. He is able to, with the law, discontinue a case over lack of interest from the citizenry. James Gyekye Quayson won overwhelmingly in the recently held Asin North by-election.
Overwhelming majority, as a matter of urgency, I'm appealing to the President of the Attorney General, President of the Republic, if he has any role to play. That trial should be aborted. The Attorney General should, as a matter of urgency, file a nolle prosequi to end that particular decision. Sir, make a way because
I say this because it would be an insult to Ghanaians and their Asin North constituents if the trial is continued. I can't see how beneficial it is for him to be prosecuted. How does he work while in court? You cannot blame him if he is unable to perform his duties as a member of parliament.
All right, so let's speak to private legal practitioner Kwame Jantua, who has joined us via Zoom for a conversation on this. Lawyer Jantua, very good evening to you. Thank you for your time.
Good evening.
We recall that on Friday, on New Day, you posited a similar position that you think that the right way to go on, a suggestion you would make is for the Attorney General to file a nolle prosequi. You seem to have had someone strongly agreeing with that position, but how would this play out in court, looking at the fact that the charges that Mr. Quayson is facing are criminal in nature?
Good evening to your viewers. I wouldn't want to comment on a current case in court, sub judice. I wouldn't want to find myself in that position. But the thing is that there is a political side to this particular issue also. And look, any political party who stood, and let's take the MPP, NDC, because those seem to be the forerunners. One, Asin North is a swing constituency. Two, if it so happens that Gyekye Quayson is found guilty, the commentary would be from the MPP. Yes, the NDC brought Gyekye Quayson when they know he had a criminal case. Then the people and the NDC, sorry, the MPP will say that. The people and the NDC, the people of Asin North and the NDC would say they are witch hunting us. When is it going to end? Look, for me, the Supreme Court's verdict came out. That should end everything. They expunged Judge Kwesi out of Parliament. It should end everything. The MPP should go back because an election is coming on in the next, 2 years? If 2 years at all. They should go back and do their homework well. Because one, they rejected the president's presentation with regards to Judge Kwesi. They rejected what the MPP said. So they should go back and try and build confidence within the people because it's a swing constituency. Right. It can go either way. Right. Look, the next election, it could happen that the party in power might not have majority in Parliament. It could happen. And so every seat in this country for the next election is key. So for me, I would advise the MPP to go back and do the homework properly. Right. Because you see, one of the things they did, they campaigned for Judge Kwesi, unfortunately. His name was everywhere, on their lips, on the NDC lips. They were campaigning for him indirectly, without campaigning for their own, because really, nobody told us exactly what they were going to do to help the people of Asin North. Absolutely. It was just Judge Kwesi this, Judge Kwesi that. So my advice to the Attorney General, file a motion of nolle prosequi and MPP go back and do your homework properly.
Right. And Council, you seem to want to decouple the politics from the legalities here. And if we are even focusing just on the legalities, wouldn't that be a wrong or suspicious precedent to set if there is a trial like this ongoing and then there are calls not just from your honorable self, but then from high-profile state or national individuals asking for it to be discontinued? Would we not be setting a certain kind of precedent there?
Remember, the charges might be the same or similar trials, but the evidence is different. It is based on the evidence that is presented. And remember, as I said on Friday, the law is in the bosom of the judge, and the principles of rule of law would work in a court. That's the basic principle in court. The principles of rule of law would work in court. So the evidence that would be brought forth, if that evidence from the Attorney General is not strong enough and it can be countered by Judge Kwesi, who has won? Who has won? The Supreme Court has said all that they had to say, although I disagree with some of the issues they said, but that is by and by. They've said what they had to say. They've expunged his name. Let's move on. The country cannot continuously do Judge Kwesi. There are much more important things for us to look at than this Judge Kwesi case. It's finished. Elections have come. It's finished. Let's move on as a country.
Okay. I'm sure there are many who agree with you on that. And maybe finally, before you take leave of us, for the president to have made the comment he made during the campaign in Asin North, where he specifically mentioned Judge Kwesi's name in a sentence which ended up, indicating that he may also end up in jail, it meant that the president probably, as some have posited, has a certain power to convince or get the judges to agree to either make or unmake the case. Would you be surprised if you hear from the president in the next few days on this matter?
What, coming to comment again?
No, probably asking that, well, let's discontinue the case and let sleeping dogs lie.
I don't know whether the president will come out and say that, because if he does come out and say that, I don't think it would be in his place to say that. Look, there was one thing I expected the president to talk about, which he didn't talk about: vote buying. I expected the president to say, look, I understand there is vote buying going on in this election. It has to stop. It is wrong. It is against the law. Did he? No, he didn't. But it was a good place for him to say that, because he's the president. He's the #1 gentleman. And if such a thing is going on, the fact that it could be benefiting you is neither here nor there. It's against the law.
Okay.
And I expected him to say something about it, but he didn't. He didn't. I don't think the president will comment about this. It will be up to the Attorney General. Probably in caucus, they might discuss it, but I don't think he'll come out and say that they should discontinue the case. Probably in caucus with the Attorney General might decide, okay, let's leave this thing and let's move forward. It will be a good thing for Ghana. Let's move on.
Thank you so much, lawyer Kwame Jantua, for your time and thoughts as always.
Let's now focus on education. The Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, is advocating for mandatory swimming tutorials for teachers posted to island communities. The association believes that this will be an effective intervention for teachers to save their lives in the event of boat disasters.
A total of 5 canoe disasters were recorded in the first half of this year, killing in excess of 20 people. In the island communities, the use of canoes is the only means by which commuting is possible. However, factors including overloading of passenger canoes, the non-availability of life jackets, and other forms of human-induced errors continue to pose threat to the island dwellers. In the Karachi East and West District in the Oti region, the situation is dire. A teacher at the Kudokope DA Junior High School explained how he survived a horrific canoe disaster earlier this year.
When we started the journey, about 5 minutes later, all I realized was that we were swimming in the lake. What the wave has blown a lot of water into the boat and the boat submerged. And so my colleague actually told them that I am somebody who doesn't know how to swim, so they should help him to save me. And so all the people in the boat actually came to my rescue, and then they surrounded me. It was around 2:33 a.m. and so there was no boat, no canoe on the lake.
But not every teacher, fortunately, survives the disaster. Karachi West has 46 island settlements, but only 21 have schools with trained teachers posted. Pupils who embark on daily voyages to access education are concerned.
With the life jacket, it will protect us. If the canoe is very full and the wind is blowing like this, and maybe unfortunately an accident happens like this, it can protect those that cannot swim. Without wearing the life jacket, it can cause death easily.
The Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, has been supporting its members on the islands with life jackets. Kudokope in the Karachi East District hosted the latest welfare package event, where some 251 life jackets were presented to teachers in 18 schools. NAT accused the Ghana Education Service of reneging on its responsibility under the collective bargaining agreement.
I believe we have enough evidence to tell those in authority that we have a case. It isn't that we are demanding so much, but things cannot continue to go on like the way it is. We cannot. Because day in, day out, we are losing teachers. Day in, day out, we are losing school children. It's not good. It's not good. So we will do everything possible best to make sure that we have something that will protect our members as well as the children as well.
The General Secretary of NAT, Thomas Musa Tanko, called for swift interventions to break all barriers hindering quality education in the island and other hard-to-reach communities.
All the barriers ought to be broken to ensure that nobody is left behind by ensuring that every child gets quality education. We are talking about Karachi West. There are 46 communities and only 21 have schools. The remaining 25, the children, where do they go to school? They cross and go to school to go and access education. How do they do it? Do they have life jacket? No. It means that they cross or they are accessing education at their own risk and at the peril of their life. That cannot continue.
NAT has also proposed that teachers who cannot swim must not be posted to any island community without any form of training.
In other news tonight, have you ever imagined that the Speaker of Parliament was a footballer? Well, he undoubtedly is an astute lawyer with years of parliamentary and political experience and wisdom. But the truth is, he is also a football fanatic. But this skill on the football pitch could be a hidden one that you may not know about and you might want to get more of in this report by Evelyn Tingma.
His style of playing is first to protect the ball. So you go down so that any player coming, can't get access to the ball. Then you position yourself in such a way that you can meander through the players. So you adjust your legs so that in the dribbling you can go. You see, I was a player, so and scoring goals is not about, hard hit. It's about placement, and you could see that in Asamoah Gyan.
That was Speaker Alban Bagbin for you. Well, per his description, could he have been a winger, defender, midfielder, or a striker? But one thing is certain. He is a football fanatic and a supporter of the Black Stars.
Dede was also with me during the time that we had programs about their performance, and he is captain. The committee wanted him. There were some reasons. I had to call him, and I spoke to the father, and they said he came down and made the committee. After that, he came to my office. We had a chat, and we took pictures and that kind of thing. We are very much interested in the game. And I told them that you don't know your actions and the actions, people die out of it. It's not easy. So these days, before I watch you people, I eat.
And who is his treasured coach?
I became Chelsea because of Essien. And my most treasured coach, Mourinho. He's the best so far in the world. And no coach has beaten his record. They are still trying, but they have not beaten his record. I'm still strong.
Passionate as he may be for the sport, he wants the country to invest in local coaches.
We need to grow our own. I don't agree to the country always looking outside for coaches. Let's invest in our own. You can't lead somebody if you don't know the person. Nobody knows us better than ourselves. Even when you are coaching, you need to know the players. And so when you go and bring somebody from Azerbaijan to come and coach a Ghanaian, there's difficulty. The person could be as good as anything, but there's a missing link.
The speaker also wants a succession plan put in place for players, as football now earns more than gold. Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News, Accra.
We may have just found the next coach of the Ghana Black Stars. Let's continue with the rest of our stories. And 6,417 households in the West Mamprusi municipality of the Northeast region have received a 100% increase in the bi-monthly cash grants for the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty (LEAP) program. And the program aims to reduce poverty by promoting the human capital development of beneficiary households.
In June this year, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection in a press release hinted it will kickstart a 100% nationwide increment in grants under the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty program. The increment, according to the ministry, is as a result of the worsening global socio-economic crisis. Speaking at a short gathering to disburse the funds to beneficiaries in Gagboni in the West Mamprusi municipality, Gender Minister Hajia Lariba Zuwera Abudu stated that the disbursement has come at the right time to be used by beneficiaries for their farming activities.
Government has increased the LEAP payment. If you look at it, one eligible household was taking 64, and now they are going to take 128. And we are paying 2 cycles. So one is going home with 256. That tells you that government has increased LEAP. And I'm happy that this is their farming season. So a lot of them will use their money to start their farming activities. So, and the women, I advise them, if you were taking 64 and now you are taking 125, at least you can use half of the money to start something.
Municipal Chief Executive for the area, Isaku Armiya Osomo Laki Basantale, expressed gratitude to the government and the Gender Ministry for the increment.
It is time that we put our people first, and that is what we are doing now. What we are seeing today is just one of the aspects of the new policies that are coming to change lives of the people.
The LEAP program, now in its 83rd and 84th edition, provides bi-monthly cash grants to the poorest households in Ghana. Its goal is reducing poverty by supporting consumption and promoting the human capital development of beneficiary households.
In other news tonight, fishermen in the Volta estuary coastal communities around Azizanya in the Greater Accra region are living in constant fear due to tragedies. Severe tidal surges frequently cause boat accidents that leave families devastated. Peter Kwawadato visited the Azizanya and a community and reports that the fishermen are calling for immediate action to safeguard their lives.
In the coastal communities of Azizanya, Adafo and environs, in the Ada East district of the Greater Accra region, a recurring nightmare is becoming all too familiar. Tidal waves intensified by climate change and the natural resistance between the sea and the Volta River are wreaking havoc on fishermen and their livelihoods. Boat accidents have become almost a daily occurrence, bringing tragedy and heartache. Many fishermen, boat owners and investors have lost friends, family and other investment to these accidents. Moses Adualote and Emmanuel Yehotu are victims of one of the recent disasters at Azizanya. Their boats were among a group of boats returning from a fishing expedition on Wednesday, June 21. There was no fatality, but Emmanuel Yehotu's boat reportedly broke into two halves, resulting in the loss of all his fishing gear.
I didn't happy, you know. America man, boat to bubu.
That was the second and last boat for the 71-year-old, and he is devastated. Emmanuel Yehotu, his wife and 13 children, as well as his 24 employees, are now jobless. Even though boat accidents at Azizanya are rampant, little is known outside the area because the fishermen keep the incidents to themselves. A minimum of 2 to 3 such disasters occur on a weekly basis during high tides. 5 different accidents occurred between June 21 and 29, 2023 and involved 7 boats. One of the boats reportedly sank on Thursday, June 29, and the rescue mission was underway as of 11 a.m. on Friday, June 30. The boat accident at Aziza are attributable to various factors including the unpredictable weather conditions and a disregard for safety precautions.
The estuary is killing us too much. We need harbor and estuary. It will be easy for us to cross inside. You know, harbor don't have waves. The issue is, you get some point, you will not even recognize that you are crossing estuary. Before you realize you enter, you go out.
A red flag is a sign that the sea level is high, yet some fishermen ignore it.
They are seeing it that is rough, but you are hungry. You have to take the risk. But government knows that you can do something on it for us.
As the communities around Aziza mourn their losses and strive for change, the urgent need for action cannot be ignored. The lives and livelihoods of these fishermen depend on it. It is their hope that the authorities will take swift action to ensure their safety and prevent further tragedies.
Let's go to the Volta region, where about 60 nursery school pupils at Manime in the Keta municipality have been absent from school for more than 1 month due to lack of canoes or life jackets to enable them ferry across the river to attend school. Joseph Armstrong reports that the children who reside on island communities have to cross the river every day to access their school at Lawoshime MA Basic School.
It is a small community with just under 1,000 inhabitants, but it is where pupils and their teachers cross the river to school daily in their quest to seek education. Mary is the daughter of one of the teachers at the Lawoshime MA Basic School. She has to cross the river to school without a life jacket every day. After 45 minutes on the river, she walks another hour to reach her school. it is not an easy journey. Mary is even fortunate to have access to a canoe. Peoples who travel from Manime, Hagoji, Slongbe, Diwegodo, Desrokope, and Awaflakpota would have to walk a distance and later cross the river on foot before accessing their school. They undress to prevent their uniforms from getting wet.
This is a daily routine for residents here at Mamime. They cross the river to school any day. There's no boat or life jackets. And anytime the river overflows its banks, many of them stay behind due to the deepness of the river.
After crossing, they dress up, ready for school, but not until they walk another distance to reach their school. During raining season, children under 3 are not allowed to cross the river, denying them their right to education.
They have been facing the same program. So, at times, if rain falls heavily, teachers, they may not come here to teach our children. The children too, they may not go there.
The headmaster of the school, Noah Ago, said the situation is making education in the area very difficult.
When the flood comes, it's very difficult for the children to come to school. They are not settled at one particular place. They are scattered. The villages are scattered. So they commute from those villages to school. So when it is raining like that, they find it difficult. Most especially those from Amime, when the flood comes, they find it difficult to cross before getting to school. The grown-up ones are in school. The kids, since they cannot cross, most of them are in the house. About 60 in number. As they are in the house and they are not learning, when they come back and we are unable to cover up what they have left, it goes against them.
The Keita Municipal Chief Executive said he is aware of the predicament confronting that community.
Those villages are cut off by a stream, wide anyway, and it comes from the Avu Lagoon. We tried to see if we can have the place motorable by constructing a bridge. We have had wooden footbridges that normally cave in because it's exposed to both rainfall and sunlight. So the weather sometimes gets the wood deteriorated.
Education has always proven to be a very important tool for development in any country. In Ghana, however, although the government has taken steps to ensure the realization of this, there is still a lot of work to be done as the Ghanaian educational sector is fraught with several challenges, especially in rural areas. Schools in rural communities do not have canoes or life jackets to transport pupils to and from school. Recently, the lack of canoes for pupils that travel from Fana to Wiaboman in the Wejagba municipality in the Greater Accra region led to the death of 9 pupils who were returning home from school. The government has been urged to provide island schools with canoes and life jackets to safeguard pupils who seek to access education. Joseph Armstrong, Gold, Alugbe TV3, Vuta region.
In other news tonight, the 37 military hospital has successfully performed its first dual-chamber pacemaker surgery. The surgery was performed on a 47-year-old woman who had had a history of hypertension and a blocked heart for 12 years.
In June, the 47-year-old was at a function when she began to feel uneasy. This prompted her to go for a checkup at the Trust Hospital.
It's me go again and check it and I say Debbie or the arena Russia come doctor. To the come doctor no see me down. And I'm saying me don't know somebody say I didn't know who you know much child we no. You see no man and never fancy no. Today a friend doctor 37.
After checking my vitals, the nurse said I needed to see the doctor immediately. The vitals were not good. A doctor at 37 Military Hospital was called. An ambulance was brought in, and I was told I was lucky because I will not be alive by Sunday.
Doctor can be Sunday to me.
She had a 12-year history of hypertension, a blocked heart, and a very low pulse. She experienced dizziness, shortness of breath, and an irregular heartbeat.
When we saw her, the heart was beating between 39 to 40 beats per minute, which was quite dangerous. And at that time, the lightest activity she does, she will feel like going off or she'll go off. She couldn't even move, and she was bedridden.
According to the NHS, heart block is a condition where the heart beats more slowly or with an abnormal rhythm. Being hypertensive, the nerves that needed to carry messages to other parts of her body were unable to do so.
What we do is to implant a certain device called a pacemaker. So the pacemaker is able to pace. Pacing means making the heart beat the way it should be. Yeah, so that is what we planned to have done for her.
She needed pacemaker surgery to enable her survive.
Normally, the pacing we normally do is what you call the single chamber, meaning we pace only one of the heart chambers. But upon seeing her and realizing she is young, by principle, she deserves to have what you call the two-chamber pacing, which is the best, ideally. We do it routinely at our National Center at Cardio Kolebu, but this is the first time we had to do such a procedure here.
The electronic pulse generator implanted in her heart would help her live a normal life. I can bath on my own. The doctors here in Ghana are also very good, and they are as competent as their foreign counterparts.
I was so happy seeing her after the surgery. Thanks be to God and the doctors.
Colonel Dr. Adomako noted the surgery has given the hospital the confidence to do more and was grateful to the team of cardiologists and medical staff who helped make the surgery a success.
An expensive device, so we are still talking with the suppliers and all those things to make sure the price comes down so that the average Ghanaian will afford, because as it is now, it is quite expensive. At this stage, I have to give thanks to my teachers or my seniors who assisted, because of course our procedures, we do not do it alone. You always need a backup.
Kudos to the medical team. In more news tonight, calm has been restored to the Lunyi community following a shooting incident that left one person injured. Economic activities are beginning to pick up as residents who fled the community have returned. The Nanumba South District Security Committee is expected to meet the feuding factions within the week. 2 suspects have been arrested by the police at their hideout. Meanwhile, we wish to correct an earlier report that has the name of the paramount chief of Bimbala as having selected one of the feuding factions to lead the Kukumba community in Lunyi. It is rather the Lunyi chief who resides in Bimbala. We apologize to the paramount chief for referring to him in the earlier report.
An Accra-based travel agency, CMG Consult, has paid 42,000 cedis on behalf of some 12 inmates of the Sunyani Central Prison in the Bono region, leading to their freedom. The 12 were incarcerated because they were unable to afford various fines amounting to the sums of money and/or their bail conditions.
The move was to set the vulnerable inmates free from prison custody and its related suffering and to return to their normal lives.
The prisoners are here because of some little amount of money, and that's why they are here. So we are taking the cost of paying their fine to enable them release about 12 inmates. Some of them are not even being tried. And then we can testify to the fact that the law says that everyone is innocent until proven guilty or otherwise.
Aside from the effort to release the 12 inmates, the company presented assorted items including food toiletries and a cow valued at 150,000 cedis to the Sunyani Central Prisons. The donation, according to the Chief Executive Officer of the CMG Group of Companies, Alif Adams, is to support the upkeep of the inmates and is a sign of Eid al-Adha.
In all, we are spending because we know how it takes to be in prison. We know how it feels. We are not here because we have a lot, we have enough. We are here because we know how it takes to be in prison. We know the hardship they are going through. So we also encourage other groups of companies, individuals or organizations to also come to their aid to support them. You don't need a lot of things before you donate. Any little that you have, at least, will be able to solve someone's problem here.
For his part, the Bono Regional Commander of the Ghana Prison Service, DDP William Kula, while commending CMG Consult, spoke about the healthcare needs of the inmates and called for support.
We have a clinic which is meant for the health needs of the people, but we seriously lack drugs, and because of that, ailments that could have been treated inside have to be sent to the main hospital. And that too, the challenge is that you have to pay, even though some of them have health insurance in not all areas that are covered. So you may go, they will tell you that cash down before they are treated. It is one of the major challenges.
You're still watching News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. We have many more stories right after this.
Gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo Superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
You dey sleep? That's Madina.
Sentuntum say wunna ma de jume ma wonsa.
Efrema bema gani oba
Ma wonsa. Sentuntum ma sumuja ma wonsa.
That shall not slap. Having black mosquito quail. Common tontom na empum wisie bebre na ema wo mowa na ema wo nhwem na ehwam.
Having insecticide spray hwam na sanso kumu a wotu ene omo wia nyina. Now having naphthalene balls and having perfumed insect repellent no kumu a wia na senja hwa wechiri.
Having black mosquito quail empum wisie bebre and say wo hwene so ehwam kama kweno emubu na jumo size no don't shit to me no.
And a heaven spray, heaven naphthalene balls, ni perfumed insect repellent no. Kumwa mutu na wa nam from na senja shawechi.
Heaven dear bakope. Heaven dear bakope.
Heaven dear bakope.
Heaven dear bakope.
FDA aji edrede krato yatum.
Day by day men, strong and refined, the skincare you deserve. Dream.
There are some moments that last forever because they happen only once. Like
Your very first day, your first day of school, your first successful bike ride. What's your child's next milestone? Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture is here to ensure they smile through it all. Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture has been keeping children smiling for more than a decade by relieving them from gastric pain, flatulence, minor digestive upset, and teething discomfort. Now, Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture. Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture is manufactured and distributed by Ernest Chemists Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Money there, 1 MP. Day 1539 chop money a big jar. You chop money on a biara. I won't know what 25 bremo. A brow bed dial *446#. Let's sell it to option 2 no. Nature day 1539 chop money. Try direct 2 no. Let this kind of the try no more 40 times. Direct 3 no. Let this kind of the try no more 400 times. Direct 1 no. But this kind of the try no more 20 times. Wait me swap permit numbers no. Now wait didn't what me have found man so every bako. I could see a dear sankron. Any dear, I am rekeke. Today 539 direct. Nanuni lotria, and more konya sahuro be bree, and you can papa. With me D. You will chop money on a pebiara. Never go mobile wallet so. Dial *446#. Nature Dewa 539 chop money. Dewa. Winning.
Let's continue with the rest of our stories. And the improper disposal of waste has been a contributor to flooding in Ghana whenever it rains. In a bid to educate the public on proper disposal and recycling of plastic waste, Bibini Innovations has undertaken an awareness campaign for commercial transport drivers in Accra.
The race to eliminate plastic waste through recycling in Ghana has gained momentum. However, more work needs to be done. Trotro Diaries, a community platform under Bibini Innovations, took to the Circle Bus Terminal to educate drivers, commuters, passengers, and the general public on the disposal and recycling of plastic waste.
Looking at the general behavior and attitude towards littering and all that, that's what we're trying to address. I'm sure anybody that has been on the streets these days sees the floods. There are contributing factors. But one of the key factors that you see as well is that everywhere you see flooded, you see the plastics as well. And so we are hoping that with this kind of education, the message we want to send to other passengers, other commuters and all that, we can also do our part by not littering. Some of these plastics can be recycled.
Some drivers offered their opinions and suggestions.
I'm very grateful they came here today, and I wish it continued. We have had issues with disposing rubbish here, and I advise my colleagues to desist from loitering. We have committed cleaners who are diligent with their job, and dustbins available for the rubbish.
According to the World Economic Forum, Ghana generates approximately 840,000 metric tons of plastic waste per year, and approximately 9.5% of that is collected for recycling. In Accra alone, about 300 metric tons of plastic waste are generated daily.
Nurses and midwives from 4 health facilities have been trained to screen newborns with hearing problems. There is more in this report.
21 population and housing census shows that 470,737 people in Ghana have some degree of hearing loss, with over 19,000 not hearing at all. Experts believe the number could be higher due to silent nature and stigma. The Kolibu Teaching Hospital's newborn hearing screening project aims to address this issue, aiming to screen all newborn babies before discharge.
A significant number of children are born with hearing problems, and these problems, when picked up early, they can be treated, they can be diagnosed, treated, or given the necessary support. So every child that is born must be screened, and this screening doesn't cost so much. At least if an experienced person does the initial screening and picks that up, maybe this child may have a problem, then they can be referred to the appropriate persons so that this problem is detected and then appropriate treatment can be given.
Stakeholders demand increased collaboration from decision makers for project success.
We have today initiated with the Kolebu Teaching Hospital as the main lead institution the first newborn hearing screening pilot program in Ghana. And why is it so important? Because hearing loss is an invisible disability. So as an external person, you would not recognize that there is a problem.
The project is being undertaken in partnership with MedL, a leading Austrian provider of hearing implant systems, and Path Medical.
We have sports right after this break. You're still watching TV3. This is News 360.
New Sabo! And a pat evaporated milk. Tasty and creamy, right?
So.
And a pat milk, a custard one, a fine. Nasawa Tom Brown no rice water muswa, a nice. Honey, trip now, but so made the end up mayonnaise. And I'm with salad, any burger, fries, and a tasty ketchup. And a good side. Coffee jollof no so made the end up a few long green rice. Oh, you are one. Don't forget your favorite and a chocolate milk drink.
Oh, more quite so.
Honey, you are sorted.
I'm in control like a pilot on Anapa Airways.
Mama.
Me, you know.
Anapa, I can't stand it.
Just a moment. And now power, huh?
Yeah!
And now, oh yeah, Jack Macron, no more. It's you cannot guess it there. Hey, you contumre. What okuni? Tomato sauce, I want you baby. And a pass sardine for box with salad here. Hey, you stew. And a jollofa. Never to the one. That don't know it though. Up to that. And the ball of ya, or made to bunny a doa. You want a pass my sauce. Check for you, sir. Oh, more tasty. And a big beans for the breakfast. La so salad, oh, she and a patuna. We can puffle. La so salad, oh, taste good. And a pan on dairy creamer. 4 box we so can see oats, na cremitino. Yawa and a spaghetti. Talia papa B. Mansunin sijadu re. Nafa and a spaghetti no gum. Wo and a pataliano I ready for watch on you stew. So ya na pa no so good ya.
In Krati, FDA appendo. Many people think I get whatever I want because I'm a popular actress. But no, that is not true. Me Alcasano, Adebia mi yebiano, me shishimpe papano. And when I find it, I stick to it. My shishimenya Bell Pack tissues. Bell Pack ewe tea roll. Bell Pack tea roll. Soft, but not weak. Strong, but not hard. It is smooth. Me yusua, me hotome. It's just perfect. Same as the kitchen towel. What about what? What me the papaye? What me soki? Echimu esa pepa. One Bell Pack kitchen towel lasts longer and saves you money. It's time you switch to Bell Pack today. Say here pocket tissue, table napkin, tea roll, and a kitchen towel. Bell Pack is simply the best. It's just perfect.
Nothing feels so good like Bell Pack.
The fishing industry in Ghana is of prime importance to the economy and the well-being of the people. Sadly, this critical industry faces a hidden threat that threatens its very existence and survival. Join us as we shine our spotlight on the canker of illegal fishing, a practice that has devastated our marine resources, depleting our fish stock, leaving our fishermen with empty nets, fish processors struggling to survive, and our communities in dire straits. We delve into safe fish handling and processing, certification and licensing schemes, We focus our sharp lenses on child labor and trafficking in fishing communities to demand accountability and responsiveness from duty bearers. Join Three Foundations advocacy for Ghana's fisheries recovery through missions compelling and captivating advocacy. Keep an eye out on TV3. This program is under the auspices of the Feed the Future Ghana Fisheries Recovery activity funded by USAID from the American people, live on News 360 and across all Media General social media platforms.
Sports segment is brought to you by
Gentleman Cosmetic Range.
It's time for sports here on News 360. I am Aniela Alote. We begin with the WAFU Zone B Under-20 Boys Cup, and all is set for the campaign of the Black Satellites. Their opening game of the group stage is on 7 July against Niger at 6 p.m. Then on 10 July, Ghana is scheduled to take on Burkina Faso at 3 p.m. For the final group game on 13 July, Ghana takes on host Cote d'Ivoire also at 3 p.m. Proceeding to some transfer news across the footballing world, English Premier League side Liverpool have confirmed Dominic Szoboszlai, among others.
Dominic Szoboszlai has completed a £60 million move to Liverpool from RB Leipzig as Jurgen Klopp makes his second signing of the summer. The Reds have confirmed the news on social media, in which it is revealed that a Hungarian midfielder will wear the number 8 shirt, previously worn by Naby Keita at Anfield.
Historic club, really good players, good coach, everything is good. For me it was perfect to make the next step in a club like this, and yeah, the fans, the stadium, everything is really good.
Manchester United have rejected a bid from Borussia Dortmund to take Jadon Sancho back on loan. United have reportedly seen their opening offer for Rasmus Højlund rejected by Atalanta as Juventus look to snatch the striker from under their noses. Bernardo Silva is being offered a massive £800,000 per week salary to swap Manchester City for Saudi Pro League. David De Gea could be given a chance to reunite with former Manchester United teammate Cristiano Ronaldo at Saudi Arabian club Al Nassr.
That's it for transfer news. Moving on to tennis, Wimbledon 2023 gets underway on Monday with defending men's singles champion Novak Djokovic opening proceedings on centre court.
Djokovic, seeking a record-equaling 8th men's title at Wimbledon, faces Argentina's Pedro Cachin.
Obviously, coming into Wimbledon, it was a dream tournament for me when I was a kid. So even though I have had plenty of success here in my career and played this tournament so many times, I still feel like that, young Novak coming to the tournament and really being able to live his dream. So it's an amazing tournament, the biggest one in my eyes. So of course, I'm super excited to start off 2023 Wimbledon.
Last year's runner-up, Nick Kyrgios, takes on Belgium's David Goffin in the second match on Court 1. The Court 1 opener pits women's world number 1 and top seed Iga Swiatek against China's Zhu Ling.
This is young Corey Goff, just 15 years of age, making her Wimbledon debut, and she is the youngest woman to ever qualify for the championship.
7th seed Coco Gauff, who was beaten in the semi-finals at Eastbourne on Friday, will take on fellow American and former Australian Open champion Sophia Kenin in the final scheduled match on Court 1.
It's a dream debut for the 15-year-old.
Following Djokovic on centre court is an eye-catching contest between 5-time champion Venus Williams, who is appearing in the women's singles at Wimbledon for the 24th time at the age of 43, and 2019 semi-finalist Elina Svitolina.
Heading over now to the Austrian Grand Prix, Red Bull's Max Verstappen continued his march towards a third world title with a dominant victory. The Dutchman's fifth win in a row moves him 81 points clear of teammate Sergio Perez in the championship. Behind him, Charles Leclerc won it from teammate Carlos Sainz before Perez took third.
Charles Leclerc will be on the podium once again this year in Formula One, and Perez from 15th on the grid to third by the end of the Grand Prix. 10 wins in a row for Red Bull, 7 wins in the season for Max Verstappen.
That will be all for sports here on News 360. I am Aniela Alote. Up next is entertainment news.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water, GTP Still Timeless, and powered by 3 Entertainment.
Welcome to GTP Fashion Corner. GTP, life styled.
And truly so, we are all styled today in GTP. Do get one for yourself and step out in style. To the entertainment stories we have for you tonight, Ghanaian female rapper Eno Baroni has said that she has never had a beef with any artist in the music industry. Speaking on the Day Show with Bella Mundi, the 22nd VGMA Rapper of the Year also spoke about her love for journalism since childhood.
Nipa ben na mehuna bo shake rapper ben no se obe woso me no jemoye shake baby aboba na hair 20 abre go ti ahojo atena hodin emba aboabo me mistake.
Would you say you've hits now?
I'm still crawling because I want to take over the world, not just Ghana.
Of
so.
course, yeah. Of course. But has beef helped elevate your brand a bit more?
I think beef is something that hip-hop culture cannot do away with.
Okay.
But if it's healthy, it's cool. If it's unhealthy...
How do you determine if it's healthy or not? Because beef, I mean, you have to go into the gutters to get your fans.
I understand beef.
Okay.
Because I started on the streets with rap. You know, Ashaiman, Tema, shout out to Yapuno. You understand? Those are the guys who raised me. Stage A, Yapuno.
Okay.
And seeing us in the studio as a little girl, you see them battling each other. And you see this my rap that I'm doing, I'll rap, and then they'll look at me and say, didn't do anything.
Oh!
You understand? So it's like, I always had to go hard. I never wanted to even rap like a girl. So it's like, I have never done anything with girls my whole life. I went to Kumasi and I fell in the hands of guys. 12 guys, I battled with them and I was second. So...
So would you say that beef between you and Medica was really like child's play?
I've not had a beef with...
Is it Medica?
I've actually not had a beef with anybody in the industry.
No?
That was just plain. It was just some lyrical...
What happened between you and Medica was just a joke?
Oh, it's just a lyrical something back and forth.
But people took it serious though. And they said you murdered him, like you made him feel like he was not a good rapper at all.
I haven't beefed yet.
You haven't beefed yet?
Yes.
So what we saw is what?
Normal.
Hey!
Yeah, normal.
Yes, the name ain't no Baroni will always ring a bell. So let's just show that part, keep giving you confidence.
Now for you, even before rap,
you
have said that you wanted to be a journalist.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, my mom loved Gifty Auntie.
Okay.
And so my mom always made me watch like Gifty Auntie. So I just loved the name journalist when I didn't even know the meaning. And I kept saying, what do you want to be in future? I'll shout journalist.
Yeah.
That's all I knew till, I mean, when I was growing up, I kept saying, oh, I'll be a journalist. Then I found myself in SHSD in visual arts.
But it still didn't kill the dream, did it?
Yeah, but it got to a point. I'm that child that I got to that limit, and it's like, I don't know what I'll be in future.
You didn't know?
Yeah.
So rap just happened to come along the way?
No, I was talented, but I never thought I would be a musician.
With no laws, no man's land, nobody be landlord.
Eno Baroni there, one of the best lyricists when it comes to rap in GA. Shout outs to her. Let's find out what's happening on the international front.
South Africa's electricity minister said on Sunday the country was closer to ending daily power cuts as warmer weather returns toward the end of the year, but declined to give a specific date. South Africa is on course to see its most blackout days in history this year, with daily power cuts extending to almost 10 hours a day, affecting businesses and households in an economy already hobbled by high interest rates and inflation. The central bank said last month that the power cuts, called load shedding locally, is expected to shave off 2 percentage points from GDP this year. South Africa implements power cuts in stages from 1 to 8, with 8 being the highest and translating into over 10 hours of daily power cuts.
For more news updates, do log on to our website, 3news.com. And that's it for News 360. Thank you so much for spending 1 hour of your time with us. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Asiedu-Date. There's more news on our website, 3news.com. Have a good evening. Oh, eviction today on Perfect Match Extra. So do stay tuned right after this. Bye for now.
Hey, Kwaku Sharp.
Yeah, baby.